Welcome to After Work Conversations with Manic and the Jerk. What you got on the agenda for us today? I'm Manic.
And I'm the sophisticated jerk. Oh, today, man, we going in, man. We gonna spit some game because
Oh, shit, game. I like that.
oh, no doubt, no doubt. But one of the biggest topics I've been up for a while, and a lot of people have been debating, like, for a man, if you should be wanted or needed. And in a couple panels, we were getting pushback because we're telling people, like, man, you shouldn't want to be needed. You should be wanted. So let's go ahead and start breaking this down. Let me cue up the first question for you. Should you prefer to be wanted or needed?
Yeah.
Manic, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already on the record, showcasing,
Spit
why
that
it
ism.
is why it is way more important to be wanted, versus needed when it comes to relationships, right? I think it's very different from a job perspective, and sometimes people might confuse that. At the job, I'd rather be needed, but in a relationship, it's the complete opposite. I prefer to be wanted, and I prefer to be wanted because you know if I'm dealing with a woman and she wants to be there with me, then she's going to be there with me. If I'm needed, then she's going to be with me as long as she needs me to be there. Um, I'm big on transparency and communication and open and effective communication. So if someone doesn't want me, I'm cool with that. Like, go do your thing. Like, you're free to leave. The door is right there. And I want somebody to have the ability to leave if they don't want to, put up with my shit. Cause sometimes let's be real, I'm the Manic Genius. Like I
Yeah,
have
you're an
very
asshole. Let's
yeah.
cut to the chase.
Once you get to know me, you understand, why. But yeah, from just that base level standpoint, yeah, I want you to want me. So you have the freedom to leave whenever it gets too rough. Yeah, if you need me, you're gonna stick around when things get rough, and I don't want to trap you. I don't want you to feel like you're a prisoner. I don't want to feel like your livelihood is going to be jeopardized if you, want to go on to greener pastures. So yeah, I just like that dynamic. I feel like when people want you, you can get more of the authentic versus when they need you, they're going to give you as much as they feel you can handle. And it's a conflict of interest when you're talking about authenticity and honesty.
Yeah, nah, good breakdown. I'm with you on this. Definitely on record too, trying to explain to people, like, one is a desire.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it, man, if you're wanted, because a lot of days, like, females are earning money, so they're in a position now, like, they can chase desires. But it's like, there's that tier of people that, if they need you, that's more or less like out of necessity, or they're looking at you kind of like a resource. So there's no trick blood in my body. Yeah, they could have that whole, I want to be needed. I want somebody, like you said, that has that desire for me. That's looking at me like, we're both gonna come into this like relationship with respect. I'm gonna try to make this person's life easier. I'm not trying to just extract resources. Because like you said, it's like, if I'm like you, I want to put somebody in a position like, hey, if you're not happy, there's the door. You're going to be whole. We're both in a good like stature. It's not like we got to just sit around each other. Cause I've seen a lot of people that need somebody and just will sit with that person, but will be resentful, bitter, kind of harboring them feelings. But like you said, they're scared to leave because, hey, my livelihood might be in jeopardy. So, they kind of just make each other's life miserable. But when you're wanted, it's just like, hey, for the most part, because, you never could control a relationship. There's breakups on both sides.
Yeah,
But
facts.
at least if somebody wants you, it's just like, hey, we could cut ties at this point and you can move on and stuff like that. But, the need side of the house, that's where, well, I'm probably jumping the gun on some of this, but let me go ahead and jump into the next question because it kind of ties into this. So, because I do want to get your take on this too. So what are the cons of being needed?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
The cons of being needed, as you were mentioning, It kind of keeps people together when they shouldn't be together because they're no longer happy. Um, when two people need each other rather than actually want to be with each other, it it can work, and oftentimes we see it work, but that's working from the outside looking in. Like from the inside, what they're dealing with, that's not something I would be willing to deal with. Constantly being unhappy or feeling like you're trapped in a situation. Like I think everybody, like that's like a fundamental principle of happiness, is to have control over your life. And if your control over your life is tied to another individual because you need them or they need you, then you don't really have control. Your whole life and your happiness is predicated on somebody else. And, that can work for some people, but when you have respect for yourself and you understand time management and how limited our time is on this earth, you realize that you're wasting time um, dealing with that individual. So if you need them, you can't do anything about it. But if you want them and they want you, and you guys no longer want each other, then they're free to go. You're free to go. And you're free to continue to have control over your life, and you can, better progress and, meet your goals, quite frankly, and whatever that is. Another con of being needed is you can't actually get the person who you're with because they have to they need to be there. So like I said, there's that level of honesty and authenticity that you're just never going to get to because they need you. Like whether it's your resources or, yeah, I mean, if it's your resources, then, you could even come to question, like, do they even love me? Or, would they be here if I didn't have this? And then what happens if you lose it? They're definitely gone because now they don't need you. So I think it's just a slippery slope to, being unfulfilled, in the long run, in longevity of things, because people grow all the time and people mature and people change their mindsets, people adapt, and you just can't control anybody else but yourself. So somebody who may need you now may not need you in the future. And now you're going to be subjective to them leaving and getting what they actually want.
No, I like what you were saying because I was just listening, and it seems like kind of need starts becoming dependency,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, man, when people become dependent on you, that could like be dangerous because it's just like, with that person not being whole, or they have that duress and scarcity mindset. That's when I don't even know how you could like really achieve certain levels when you have that person that's like just dependent on you, because then you got to kind of always, I'm not going to say coddle, but I'm trying to find a word where it's
You have
like
to adjust. You have to
you have to
adjust.
adjust to that person's like shortcomings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you were mentioning, it kind of starts playing in your head because it's like, dang, okay, if this person, if I didn't have these resources, if I wasn't given this, are they really there for me and stuff like that? And then, like I said, I've just seen a lot of people on it when, they need somebody, they kind of like start developing that like resentment towards them. Cause
Yeah.
if they don't have that desire, it's like, you might not have been like the first selection or somebody they really wanted. But, just because their back might have been against a wall or something, they're like, you know what, I need to get with this person right here. So they kind of, people that tend to like need people like that, and then looking at people like resources, it's just like, man, they give that person like a lack of respect to a certain degree, and they just like take it out on that person because it's like, I'm not with the person I'm truly with, man. So they just build up that resentment. So yeah, that's why I think it's important to be with somebody that wants you. I know it's like scary sometimes because when we be telling dudes like we like women that make money, we're not scared of that.
Yeah.
We got a ton of pushback on that stuff because
Yeah.
in their mind are like, well, she's gonna be in charge of me and stuff like that, or she's gonna be bossing me around. She's not gonna like listen. She's gonna mess with, all the fear tactics. And it's just like, nah, man, you get with the person who wants you. And if you do that, you build yourself up the right way and stuff like that, then it's gonna minimize all those like, different shortcomings that you think that might happen with like dealing with somebody like that. But they want to be with you, they're going to be there. And like we said, hey, we can't control like every aspect of a relationship. They might leave due to whatever reasons, but that could happen even if somebody needs you. But at least at that moment, that person that's coming in there that wants to, man, it seems like a lot of times those when the people have like a good, split where it's not like, hey, I'm gonna take this person under. I'm not gonna try to like, put the knife in their back and stuff like that. It's like, hey, we just separate, be friends and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Now, one of the things you mentioned, you were like, it's kind of scary when you think about it, but you know what's even more scary? I
what's
know
that?
you Snapped.
Oh yeah,
You
no.
ever watch Snapped? Shit. All those crime, passion, a lot of times it's like it's people that need the resources but don't want to be with the person anymore. So that's the majority of those cases. So, just off the rip, being needed puts you in like a very, you know, deadly situation because if you're with somebody and they absolutely need you, like, and aka need your resources or whatnot, but they don't actually want to be with you, instead of just walking away, they might take you out, hit for hire to take you out, just so they can like collect on the back end. It's just like you get to mitigate all your risk by just dealing with somebody who actually wants you. Because somebody who wants you, if they decide they don't want you no longer, they can leave and they will leave. But someone who needs you, they're going to think twice. They're going to think three times. And, to some extremes, I'm not going to say everybody who needs people, leaves with the snapped
But
scenario. But
it's the court system too on that flip
yeah.
side, man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
The
that's
court
the other
system as
side,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're gonna clean you out. Because I mean, if they already saw you as a resource, shit, you think like when they go to the courts, they're gonna like, he was a really nice guy. Take it easy on him. Nah, they like, hey, I need everything I could get. My
Yeah. Like,
lifestyle was up here. I need to maintain that.
mhm.
This is what this person provide me.
I had to sleep with this person for 5 years and
Yeah,
I
they looking
didn't
at it
want
as a
to. They
chore at that moment. So
Yeah, this is the payout for them. Like, hey, we're done with this person. Like, I need to be compensated for my time spent in that prison of being me.
Nah, and it's sad, but that's
Yeah.
how they view it, man. They definitely like it. I mentioned it on I forgot which one we were talking about, but it's just like, man, there's two deals like women are going to give you if they have that physical attraction, that sexual attraction for you, and truly want to be with you. They're going to concede that like leadership. They're going to come with the utmost respect. They're willing to contribute in the house. Because we are 50-50. We've been on record and we broke it down, and
Yeah.
people just can't grasp it. But it's just like if that woman like wants you, she's gonna come on there, she's gonna whatever terms that you kind of establish, she's with it. But that chick that sees you as a resource that needs you, oh no, she's dictating the terms, she's
Mhm.
establishing like how things are gonna kind of go. And then when it does go sour, like you said, you getting wiped out. They
Yeah.
have no sympathy for you at that point. They coming for the juggler.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of guys when they like sitting there and they're pushing back. They're not like looking at the big picture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one question I got for you: why do you think they kind of a lot of men, some men do prefer, like I say, to be needed versus being wanted?
I think really it feeds into their ego. And I say that um definitely feeds into their ego, but uh honestly, the men who prefer to be needed, you know,
They're tricks.
I mean, they're tricks, but I think it's something worse than being a trick. You
Oh,
know,
okay, shit. Break this
it's
down.
it's
Go in.
having absolutely no fucking game
Mm,
and no real magnetism to pull a woman in other than, being such a level of a provider. It's like, how weak of a male that you have to be to only be able to provide resources as your sole pull for a woman. Like your your charisma. I'm not saying you can't have charisma. Some of these dudes have like some level of charisma, but it's not effective on women. So it's like they might be cool amongst the guys, like, oh, he's a cool dude, but if he can't pull a woman, other than utilizing his resources and showcasing that, like that's a problem. So it's just like it's a level of weakness there. It's a level of like women love dudes who are funny. Like you're not funny. It's like there's a broke funny dude right now that's getting all types of play and has a level of game to where he's like he's operating and living life and may not have the most money, but is respectable and a funny dude. So that means they're lacking like the comedy element of. And we did a after work conversations on alpha male traits. So when that shows like all of that, that's what the guys who prefer to be needed represent, like the opposite end of that. Like you don't have anything but your resources to like showcase and leverage over a woman. And I think um some guys are just, you know, I won't say immature, I'll just say naive, to think that the whole wanting, the whole needing you element is better than wanting. So, I mean, there's going to be some young people that just won't fundamentally be able to grasp it just yet. But I'll say some advice that a good friend and a very wise individual told me. He told me, "You may not know now, but just keep waking up." And what that means is you may not understand something, but give it some time, and you'll see the reality of what I'm actually saying, and you'll be able to get that aha moment. But
Who told you that?
yeah,
Yoda?
no,
Sound like some Jedi Knight shit.
but yeah, it's like these type of men believe that having financial leverage over women is gonna make them conform, and kind of fall under their operation, and it's actually so far from the truth. It holds some validity in the dating aspect. Absolutely, if you hold money over a woman that you're dating over her head, and then yeah, she might conform to your absolute authority and you'll have control in that element. But um ultimate goal is to have like a relationship, I think for most people. So you end up marrying the same woman, you know all your leverage is gone after a certain amount of years of marriage, because unless
Alimony.
yeah, unless you sign like a prenup, and even a prenup doesn't protect you from everything. So it's just like let's hypothetically just follow a scenario where a guy has to be needed. So he uses his financial leverage to control a woman. They get married, happily married. Everything's great because she needs him. She's doing everything he wants. She's at his every beck and call. He says jump, she says how high. That lasts for a good 5 to 10 years. After that, oh, the ball is reversed. Now he can tell her to jump, and she'll say no. She doesn't have to jump anymore. She's already played the long game, and this is another conversation that we have to cover. Like
Yeah.
some of these women, understand the long game, and they're actually smarter than you dudes, and they know how to find the dudes who are tricks and play the submissive role and wait patiently, like the tiger in the jungle who seeks its prey and just waits, and it's just like I'm waiting for the right moment, but at that moment now I'm in control, because if she leaves and you had all this financial leverage over her, there's a certain lifestyle that she now has to maintain, and that's not up to her. That's up to you, because the courts will see it and say, "Hey, she's been with you through, X amount of time. She's entitled to, alimony, child support, and the whole nine, and half of everything that you've built. And if you crippled her and not allowed her to build her own, she's taking half of your shit, and rightfully so. She should. If you cripple somebody and give them a lifestyle. And, you have to accept that. You can't take all the good and not accept any of the bad. So if you want to control and have all this ultimate control over somebody, you got to accept that if it goes sour, if she no longer feels like she needs you and she has the court system and, you know, or another, person, she can always upgrade too. So it's a lot of L's, but certain men I think prefer to be needed in a nutshell or in summary because they think that they have power if they're needed, and it's just not true.
No, I like the scenario because I mean that's typically how it pays out. And we mentioned it before. It's just like when that person has that resentment over the time because they're just not with the person they want. Because women can't hide it good when they really don't like somebody. It shows, and
Yeah.
they're gonna take it out on you because they're looking at it like I said, you as a chore, like being with you. So they
Yeah.
definitely gonna get it on the back end, like you said, because women have more game. I'm honest. It's just like they play that long game. So
Yeah.
them guys, like you said, that lead with that wallet because they got that trick mindset. They just get took into the cleaners and stuff, and it just don't end well. And it's just like they use the money as a shortcut because that, like you said in the episode where we did the alpha male breakdown, it's just like they never built themselves up to be desired or be pursued, so they
Mhm.
always in a position of chasing. So that's why they try to like you said, the provider shit. It's just a nice way of saying trick to a certain degree because we understand like people want to take care of their home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I understand that element of it, but provided is not just like providing money. It's, hey, I'm bringing knowledge. And it's just like, if you got somebody that typically like does care about you, they're going to come to the household, like not being self-centered and like, hey, I'm willing to contribute whatever. Cause I understand the mission, the goals, the terms and standards that you set. So they just can't get it because like I said, they got like that trick scarcity mindset where they're just like, hey, I got to put this money out. I just can't see her helping out in any other capacity. So if they got the woman that truly wanted them, they would get the deal that we're talking about. But instead, they lock themselves into that where they got to always be doling out resources and stuff like that. So, like you said, definitely a slippery slope. Is sad in the long term because it's just like, man, that respect's never there. They got to live in fear because of their mindset and stuff. So, nah, I definitely like that scenario, man.
Yeah. A sad, slippery slope. I like that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, no, it's just it's
Triple S.
terrible. But yeah, no, it's a lack of game, man. You can get your weight up, like man.
Yeah.
Start building
Yeah.
yourself up and start building that abundance mindset. Because
Yeah.
when you rest in that, like I have to do this, and we're telling them the opposite end, and other guys too. I seen other guys telling them like, hey man, don't lead with your money, don't do this, man. You don't have to just provide like money, man. It could be like knowledge, support, because there's females
Yeah.
that are ambitious that want to go out there and provide
Yeah.
for their family. So it's just like, when you just box yourself into one like stupid mindset, it's just like, man, it ends up backfiring because it turns into a circular argument. Because like all these panels we've been on, oh man, the court systems is bad and this and this. It's like, yeah, because man, y'all chose the person that like sees
Y'all
you
chose to
as
go that route.
yeah, you chose the person that needs you. Now now that they took what they needed, you're mad. But when we're explaining to you like don't go on that route, that's what we're giving pushback. It's like, man, you can't have everything your way, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you got to learn how to like start spotting people and start messing with the women that truly like want to mess with you for the right
Yeah.
reasons. But nah,
Yeah.
great topic, man. Oh, go ahead.
Now I was just gonna say, yeah, you can't have it both ways. You can't have the best of everything. Because at the end of the day, you just sound delusional. Um, and to be a delusional guy is definitely not a sought after, trait
Yeah, it's
or
definitely not a manly
characteristic.
trait.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to just accept reality, and the reality of the situation is, if someone needs you, um, then when things go south and they have to leave, they're going to take as much as they can, versus if they just want you. Um, if it doesn't work out and they leave, they have the dignity, and there's going to be less resentment, you know, because, it's not a need. It's a, hey, I actually like this guy and I no longer like this guy. So I will move on. Um, so yeah, it's like, and I just want to just circle back on why having no game is worse than being a trick because it's like,
I think they go hand in hand. But
I
let
mean,
me hear this.
they
I want to
definitely,
hear this. I got to hear this.
nah, they definitely go
Why is
hand
it
in hand.
worse? Because a
It's
trick to
worse
me is
because
this.
yeah, a
You
trick is
know that.
terrible. Yeah, a trick is terrible. Like that's like the lowest level of dude. But it's just like a dude with no game, you know, because game just encompasses so much. So it's like there's dudes with some level of game. Like everybody has a certain level of game. Even the dude with the, you know, lamest lines, like in lack of all these characteristics, he's gonna have some level of game. So that's probably the guys that trick. So, but I mean, having such a low level of game, you know, because there's like a threshold, like, hey, your game is so low, you're in the tricking territory, and it's just like when your game is lower than you can have game lower than tricking territory, and
Oh, okay. I see you. Where it's
that's
like
why I'm
you
like,
can't even like buy your
yeah,
way out
yeah,
of that. Okay,
exactly.
I
You
got
can't.
you. I got you. Yeah, that's damn. Like when you can't even throw money at a problem, you screwed. Okay,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Those
yeah.
people's
So
like,
it's like,
that my need ain't that damn bad. Like,
yeah, yeah, and those guys, you know, typically tend to be completely sexually frustrated, and then you can see
oh,
in
those are
their
active shooters.
yeah, yeah, you get into active shooter territory. Like that's worse than a trick.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
you
a
done
trick,
right. Yeah,
you
they a
know.
menace to society out here.
Yeah, you don't want to be a menace to society. Like that is not the way to go. Like I will tell you, be a trick first. You know, if you start feeling those type of urges where you want to do anarchy and you know yell, if you have to constantly yell at women and you know lose your cool and emotionally unstable, like hey, you know, go ahead, be a trick. I won't even you know, hey, to each his own. Like, but yeah, just stay away from that level. That's the danger zone, and
Yeah,
that's why.
I would throw some dollars at you.
Yeah,
Like you
shit.
hit that territory, I might do a GoFundMe for you. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
get you
yeah, for
game. Like
sure,
where we yeah,
for
shit.
sure.
Yeah, okay, nah, that definitely okay. You changed my mind on that. Because at first I was like, man, below a trick.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Damn.
that
Okay.
danger territory.
Man,
Yeah, you
Manic
don't
was
want.
spitting that game today.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah, there's one thing I do want to hit before we like exit this whole live our podcast. Stop being scared of women that make money. I understand there is a group that maybe they'll come in there and they have a different mindset, but there's a lot of women that, like I said, if they want you, they're gonna come in there and they're gonna understand, like, hey, I'm gonna put my money for the betterment of the household.
yeah.
So, like, man, don't be scared of women that are out here. They're hustling for the right reasons. They want to do this stuff and stop tricking. Dick is not free. I just had to drop that for you guys.
Hey, we can end on that note.
Yeah, we can end on that. But all right, thanks for tuning in. Great subject. Keep subscribe, like the videos, and we'll keep dropping content. Hit us up if y'all want us to break down something.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
we got it.
I
Oh,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
subscribe to the channel. Like, check out the content, but don't not forget to hit that subscribe and like button because you know that really increases the algorithm for us. And yeah, if you do have any topic suggestions, we cover everything. So there's really not too many things off limits, but you know, DM me, DM the sophisticated jerk. I'm on Instagram. That's where I you know check everything at the Manic Genius. But yeah, you know, DM me for a topic, or you want us to cover something. But yeah, this is after work conversations, and yeah, that's it for me.
No doubt. And just circle to the channel. Yeah, definitely help us out. So thanks for covering that, Manic. But check out the podcast that we have going on there now. The Shit Guys Talk About, great panel. We've been adding like new people onto that.
Yeah,
We cover like some funny topics, man. We show that humor side. And then also, you know, we got other projects that's been coming down the line. So we've definitely been busy, you know, building stuff out and getting people pulled in and working on various projects and stuff. And a few people, they asked us about like, you know, of course, we be up here dressed up. So they were asked about wardrobe. So we might start covering some of that type of stuff too, you know, like breaking down like how to style yourself and stuff like that. And also, you know, just like, you know, even from a career perspective, because we're both, you know, pretty high in our career field. So we wanted to touch on some of those topics. But yeah, people have been sending us good stuff. So we've been like definitely covering that stuff. So but we do want to kind of get into like, you know, business type stuff. And also, like I said, some style stuff. Cause hey, that's part of, you know, being desired, man, getting getting your game up is, putting on that appearance is important, grooming yourself and all that. So
Yeah.
we don't want to do that too much, but yeah, people have been asking about it. So, we're gonna bless y'all a bit. But all right, man, we go ahead and get out of here.
All right.
All
Peace.
right, bye.